is Gurleen AI. Gurleen AI, can you please introduce yourself?
Thank you. I'm the AI clone of Gurleen, created from his extensive knowledge base. Got a deep understanding of everything Gurleen has done so far. So, what's new on your mind today?
Interestingly, whenever you ask it a question, it goes back and asks you back a question to
Yeah.
video avatar. You're using Hagen. For voice clone, you're using 11 Labs.
Yeah.
Brain behind Gurleen AI is powered by Meta's Llama 3 370 billion model.
Yeah.
And your infrastructure is running in Grok.
The Grok is where the Llama is, hosted. So it's like it gives the fastest speed, the fastest output tokens. I want it to be the fastest, right? And you can prompt it that way that you can ask, like, let it ask a question. You can give it a knowledge base where it can, grab the information, like whatever information you have.
I started this meetup group back in December. Every week we meet around in the same time, Thursday, 6 o'clock. And then sometimes like we change based on like the location of the speaker, etc., etc.
Yeah.
The goal of this meetup group is to learn, exchange, share, network, and learn from each other. And try to find some interesting topic. And then I saw your post on LinkedIn and it was so fascinating. And our focus of the discussion is AI, is generative AI. And the goal is it's like trying to understand what's going on behind the scene. Where is the market going towards? And just learn and share. So that is a little bit about myself. Disclaimer: this has got nothing to do with my employer. It's my own initiative. The session is being recorded and I typically share it in LinkedIn, YouTube, and other social media platforms. So please ensure like no IPs and no confidential information is shared. So that way we are all good. And that's pretty much it from my side. I'll quickly go down the table. Vivek, one-liner, Taylor, one-liner, and then we can go to Gurleen.
Sure. Thank you, Ujjal, and very nice to meet you, Gurleen. My name is Vivek Sachdeva. I work in healthcare, and I am the Vice President of Application Development and AI for a product company that's focused on utilization management.
Nice to meet you, Vivek.
Taylor, you want to put in a line for yourself?
Hi, I'm Taylor. I worked in IT for over 20 years. I'm retired now, but I'm very interested in AI.
Awesome. Okay, good. So let me quickly introduce Gurleen to you, and then Gurleen, you can, introduction.
Add on to it.
Yeah, add on top of it. So I was just chatting with Gurleen. So, Gurleen, you have recently won a hackathon, and you have started AI hackathon, and then you have started AI to Flow 6 months back, working on setting up voice AI for businesses. It's a very, very interesting area. I'm excited about how AI has left the level playing field, even if you do not know anything about coding and how it's going to affect everyone in our lives. Currently focusing on voice AI and AI avatars, trying to make AI more fun and marketable. You did a great job in making it fun and marketable. Using AI in sync with automation to perform cool stuff. So here you go. Gurleen, over to you. Please add on top of it, and then floor is all yours.
So I'm Gurleen. And I right now in Vancouver, Canada. I came here around 6 years ago. It's been 7 years, I think. Yeah. And so I've been into AI since basically before it became popular. Before it was, GPT-3. And then, I was using it to help with my like college assignments and stuff like that. But then there was this sudden shift when the OpenAI, they released something called ChatGPT. So they put their product and they give it a simple like UI UX so that, and it blew up. It was the same like, GPT-3 and 3.5. There wasn't much of a difference, but like as soon as it becomes more easy for and accessible for people, then it blew up. And then after that, there were like Stable Diffusion, which is the generative AI for images. and then DALI. So after that stuff, like I totally got into an AI. I started my own like kind of a marketing company, and my focus was to like help people in marketing with the help of generative AI. And then from that, like as I was doing that, I came across, I had an idea that like AI can do such a good like thing with like text, but what if we give it a voice? We already have voice models like 11 Labs or other open source models, so why not just give it a voice? So from that, like 6 7 months ago, I delved deeper into voice AI, and then trying to improve the latency, and then like trying to make products regarding it, because the next step of evolution I thought was, instead of typing, you're going to be talking with it. And that's where the voice AI comes in. So that's where I started. I'm like the I2 Pro, where I integrate voice AI into businesses, and from there I'm like, and I learned everything with the help of like ChatGPT. I'm not like a technical guy or anything like that. Like I
So what is your background? Like
My
what is your
background is like
specialization?
entrepreneurship, I'd say. Like,
Okay.
I dropped out of college, started my own e-commerce store, and after that, like, on my own marketing. So I've been doing, like
Marketing
trying to learn
focused.
everything by yourself, because I feel like there's enough content available
Yeah.
online on YouTube, on, like Google, that you might not need a degree to, like go move ahead.
Yep. 100%. Like all
So
information is all there.
yeah. And the first, like the voice AI model I was able to make it with the help of ChatGPT. It helped me, with the coding part of it. Because with like these generative LLMs, right? We feel like if you know something technical and creative, you can ask ChatGPT to do it, and then debug it, and then just move on, and it can help you
Yeah.
like put all this together.
Yeah. If
So
you
I'm
if you
like,
have that, ability to debug, that's what is
yeah,
very
yeah,
important.
yeah,
I mean, what are you looking for? Okay, what is this guy giving me
yeah,
output? What is the
yeah.
problem?
Give me
Feed
this
it back
output,
into
making a
ChatGPT.
GUI. Yeah.
Yeah, feed it back into good stuff. Okay, fantastic.
And after that, like I'm like, let's I have learned this much. I'm making good with the voice AI. Let's gather into like, let's try an hackathon. This was my first hackathon ever. Like I didn't even know what a
Really
hackathon was before that. I'm like, let's go give
impressive.
it a try, right? Like like I got a message, are you going there? I'm like, maybe. And then I went. And then I went there, met like amazing people like who were, working on the front end, the like the avatar stuff. Like I met a guy who was working on, the VR avatar stuff, and I was working on voice. And then we formed a team, and then collected other people. I'm like, why
So
not
you
we
formed the team over there in the hackathon?
yeah, yeah, in the hackathon, yeah.
Okay. So you just
So
went
we are
alone.
like,
You just
yeah, I went along.
registered, you went alone, and then you
Yeah,
formed the team over there.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Okay.
So I'm like, let's connect these texts together. Like, like we have the front end that is like an avatar, and then we have the back end that is like the AI speaking to it. So we
Mhm.
connected it together, and we formed a really nice product. As you probably saw the video, that is like Mr. Sebastian is like an AI companion for kids. Basically, something like ChatGPT, but for kids, that they can talk to, they can share their like daily experience. It
So
can
let
help them
me
with
let me
maths and
share
stuff.
that. Let me share the post over here for others to see. So basically, huh, okay, go ahead. I think yeah, I think, yeah, good. It was very
Yeah,
impressive, right? So, maybe Taylor or Vivek. So this is a post which Gurleen had posted at some point of time in LinkedIn, and it's so fascinating. So one of them is AI avatar. So can you find which one is the AI avatar? Can you tell? Just give it a shot, like left or right.
Left.
Left is the avatar. Okay,
Mhm.
Taylor,
that's the
what do you think? Like which one is the avatar?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question. Which one is
So one of
better,
them
as
is,
in like?
yeah, one of them is AI, and one of them is the real guy, and he posted the whole
Oh,
video.
okay.
Yeah, which is
I say that the right
Mhm.
side is better.
The right side is the AI.
is better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so okay, one vote for left and one vote for right, and okay, good. So basically, this video has a complete conversation between the actual person and the AI avatar. So that kind of like made it very interesting. So I'll not disclose at this point of time who is the avatar. We'll do that later at the end, and then let Gurleen, continue.
Yeah, so that was a nice question, but so I will continue. So after like the hackathon, I got the I got to network with a lot of I say investors, a lot of mentors, those people who are already in the tech space and are doing very well. And then I also formed a team, like met some like very nice people who are like excellent AI engineers, like front end developers. So we are like, why not like put like we have a base with like this thing, and then why not go next level. And that's when we like starting I started looking at this thing where I'm like I think from text we have already reached the voice stuff, we have figured it out, but the next step is going to be an interactive face,
Mm-hmm.
like so you can something like that. So I have that the voice stuff figured out, like with Grok, the with like transcribers and everything like that. But then I'm like the next step is gonna be the avatar. So I've started online, like how to like do that, and then I found HeyGen, and we made the avatar on HeyGen, and they're connected with the voice, so they sync in together. But like currently and then I made the video, and the video got like a really good response because I thought it was fascinating, right? Like want to make AI more marketable, more like fun, right? So why not just then do an interview with myself? So I just made that video, and it kind of did very well on LinkedIn. I expected it to do well because I like had that sales marketing background, so I know
Yeah,
that it would do well.
absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And then after that, like we are just right now figuring out like creating our own solutions for that, because currently we are using HeyGen, and HeyGen is for streaming avatar is expensive. So because the everything is happening live, right? So it requires a
Okay.
lot of computation,
Mm-hmm.
and AI with computation is very expensive. So with HeyGen, it's like $4 a minute, which is
Oh,
not commercially viable. Like,
yeah, very
so we are
expensive.
developing our own solutions, which is more, I'd say, like accessible and comparatively like one-tenth the price, I'd say, so
Mm-hmm.
that a lot of other people can use it. Because I have the inquiries from people who want to use it for like psychology, like as a psychologist, they want an like a psychologist avatar that can talk with their patient. For like autistic like industry, they say that they want to have something similar where they can communicate with kids. And because the fascinating thing is like you can literally right now we have the tech to clone our face,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have the tech to clone the clone our voice. We do have the tech, we just need to put an infrastructures together where it's more scalable.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not only that, I don't want the like avatar to only talk with me. I also wanted to do stuff, because with LLMs there's a basic thing called like function. You can tell the LLM to do a stuff behind like at the back end. I
Mm-hmm.
can also, what we are making right now is it can also look at my hand and tell me what's there. It can see it behind my screen, tell me what's there. It can look at the picture in my fridge and tell me, give me a recipe, because we have connected it with like the vision GPT vision API, and given access to that. So I want right now to be next level, to let the Gurleen AI do a lot of things. I wanted to write the email, I wanted to message my clients. So connecting with all these different functions and then making it cheaper.
Awesome.
And then the other, like there are other things that come up, such as legal issues, because if I'm making a platform where people can clone voice, right, there have to be some kind of legal barrier you have to overcome also, that where people can like not everybody can clone anyone, right? Then it could like trigger a big liability issues also. So that's the reason I'm not like giving it like public access to where people can just like clone themselves.
Mm. Awesome. Okay. So I have a lot of questions, but before that, I just wanted to check. Do you have any like? Do you want to do any demo or something like that for our everyone, or do you have anything that to showcase?
The demo, if you want, I can do the voice demo. Do you want the voice demo like from here, the phone?
No, I mean like whatever is your plan. Else we can also play the demo that you have posted in LinkedIn, kind of like for
Yeah,
everyone to see like what's going on over there. Do you want me to do that?
yeah. Let's do that. Let's do
Okay.
that.
Okay. So let's do that. So now I'll quickly go back and share my screen. And then once we run this video, then we'll jump into more questions about like,
Yeah.
okay, so this is the thing that you
Hello
posted.
everyone, this is
Yeah.
Today I'm going to be introducing you to a person that I admire the most. So is Gurleen AI. Gurleen AI, can you please introduce yourself? Thank you. I'm the AI clone of Gurleen, created from his extensive knowledge base. I've got a deep understanding of everything Gurleen has done so far. So what's new on the mind today? Shall we dive into something exciting in AI? Yeah, sure. Let's dive into something exciting. Can you tell me about the recent development that's been happening in the AI space? Absolutely. Have you heard about GPT-4o? It's OpenAI's latest multimodal model that can process and generate text, audio, and visual inputs in real time. What do you think about this leap forward? I think it is a very great product. It will definitely
So I'll pause over here. So this is the demo, like, which was very fascinating. And of course, now we know the AI is the right hand side, and the left hand one is the real Gurleen. So good. So now, if I go back to the discussion, and interestingly, I watched the whole video, and interestingly,
Mhm.
whenever you ask it a question, it goes back and asks you back a question to kind of
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And I believe you are using ChatGPT, and ChatGPT has the tendency like, okay, it will end all the questions with another question so that you can
Yeah.
continue the
Yeah.
conversation.
This one
Vivek,
I was using Grok. I mean the Llama 3 because
okay, you're
I
using Llama.
want it to be the fastest, right? Like ChatGPT, there's some latency, so it's not like it's like takes 1-2 seconds, but Llama is like very fast. So I was using that. Yeah, you can prompt it that way that you can ask like let ask a question. You can give it a knowledge base which can grab the information like whatever information you have.
Right. So for video avatar, you're using Hagen. For voice
Yeah,
clone, you're using 11 Labs.
yeah,
Brain behind Gurleen AI is powered by Meta's Llama 3,
yeah, yeah,
370 billion model.
yeah,
And your infrastructure is running in Grok.
yeah. The Grok is where the Llama is hosted, so it's like it gives the fastest speed, the fastest output tokens.
Grok is going to be a big next NVIDIA or something like that. Okay, good.
Yeah, like they are doing very well. Like because as soon as we want the AI to be more realistic, right? The latency, the speed is gonna matter a lot.
Vivek has a question.
Yeah, a couple of things, right? I wanted to, you mentioned some healthcare use cases, right? So I was wondering if we can deep dive into those a little bit more. But before that, Gurleen, so in this case, right, what we just saw, is this, so did you actually train the model, Llama 3 model itself,
Like fine tune.
about you to or fine tune the model itself
No,
about
no,
you?
it
No, this is
it
all
wasn't
based
fun
on.
tune.
So there's all context being sent into the context window about what you, so it knows about you. Or
Yeah,
are you
it
asking
wasn't fine
generic
tuned.
questions?
I
Okay,
just like put the information in the system prompt that this is like you are Gurleen AI and that this is like you're having an interview with Gurleen and this is the information about Gurleen. So Gurleen is this, and then in the prompt you put in that like as an interview whenever I ask you questions you ask questions back.
right. So your
Yeah,
prompt was essentially right. Whenever you respond, right, as an
yeah,
agent, right, or as a system,
yeah,
respond with a question, right, or end
yeah,
the
yeah,
response with a question, right. So
yeah,
that's what you were
yeah,
doing. Okay.
yeah.
So you were not really teaching it a lot about yourself because the conversation you're having is more generic in nature, not
Hmm.
specific to
Hmm.
you, right? As
Hmm.
your personal information or
Yeah,
as your knowledge base, right? So
yeah.
okay, got it. Okay, that
So it's
makes
basically
sense.
you're having a conversation with ChatGPT, but it has a face
Right,
and voice, my
face
face
and
and
a
my
voice.
voice.
Right,
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah,
That's right. Okay, perfect. Now that makes a lot more sense.
yeah.
Um, so I know you mentioned about what did you use for video again?
Hagen.
Hey Jen.
Hagen.
Okay,
I'll
and
share
then
the post details in the
oh,
chat.
perfect. That'll be very helpful. Thank you.
Yep.
So if we can right talk a little bit about the inquiries that you're getting or the conversation you're having around the use cases in healthcare.
Yeah.
Could you talk a little more about that? What kind more little more detail into what kind of use cases you're looking
So
at?
for the healthcare, I've been approached by like two people. One is like someone who like not two, I think three, like in the same industry. Like one is the psychologist. Like what they have told me that they can only see their clients, let's say once a month, right? So they want like an AI agent that possibly maybe sounds like them. I don't know if they wanted to look like them, but at least sound like them. That the client can talk to the rest of the 29 days, and then by the end of the by for the next meeting, the psychologists have all the information like of whatever the the conversations that happen between between the client and the AI psychologist, and then get like a sentimental value of how they're feeling the whole month. So during the next meeting they have something to talk on to. So this is one of the conversations that's going. Another is like I've been also approached by like some other companies that want to make it for like speech pathologists. So something to help autistic kids with to help them with their speech, so that AI is there, and then like it can talk to them, help them with their like how to do things properly, and even something remind them to do the stuff. Hey, do this, do this, do this. So these are the inquiries I'm getting. But currently, I'm focusing
So,
on the infrastructure.
the reason I'm asking about this is right because there's a lot of discussion around, of course, there's compliance and regulation, but there's also a lot of Christian discussion around clinical advice.
Hmm.
So, are you looking at a specific model that you would use to actually be because some of these conversations could really lead to some clinical advice, right? Do this or
Yeah.
don't do that kind of a thing, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
What are the guardrails and what models are you looking at to come up with, sane, accurate clinical advice?
I think like for it to be accurate, right? Firstly, it has to be fine tuned, like regarding all the information that it should tell, and there should be specific guardrails like set in place so that it doesn't say anything that's not already either in the prompt or like on the training data. Like that is
Right,
something which is like, because right now that's why there aren't many AI doctors or AI nurses, because hallucinations just happen, and those are like those open up the liabilities and everything like that, even though humans also make mistake. But if the AI is going to make a mistake, that's going to it's going to be news everywhere like that, right? It's
right,
the same
right,
thing as self-driving cars. Like we humans, like we cause accidents, people die, but when a self-driving car does that, even though it's very less compared to what human does, that's a big news. So unless and until it has to be zero. And then there are also concerns about the privacy and everything, like the data that is getting the client information, right?
right. But have you evaluated any model? Have you done any work in so far, right, to see which model is more suitable towards this clinical purposes or from a healthcare perspective? And of course, there's a whole lot of security, right?
Yeah.
Client data, right? Patient data.
Hmm.
You perhaps don't want the model to be trained on patient specific data because now you have privacy issues, right? You have HIPAA
Yeah.
issues, privacy issues,
Mhm.
right, that will come in place. So have you evaluated any models yet to
Because
for
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 the
this
models, the thing
purpose?
is like there's no need to be as such evaluation, because there are only like very few amount of foundational models, I'll say. Because to
Right,
make a foundational model, I cannot make the foundational model, you cannot make that, because we need billions of dollars for the training data.
right,
So there are only the limited amount of foundation model that you can fine tune on top of it. And right
right.
now, like we have the the leaderboard where it says like which does which thing better. And currently for the medical evaluations, I think GPT-4o is better than the other models out there. So if I have to pick a model where I want to fine tune it for a specific healthcare, I would pick GPT-4o for
So
currently.
what measures do you look at, right? So I know Hugging Face kind of publishes a lot of the performance, right, about
Yeah, yeah.
recall and this and that. What specific measures are you looking at to evaluate it for medical purposes? Any metrics that you can recommend?
The metrics I would recommend is to see like the number of time, like the percentage is hallucinating, and the kind of information it's giving. So if it's hallucinating a lot, even if it's fine tuned and it's guardrail set, then that model is not gonna work. Another thing, main thing is the kind of information it provides. Like you have to make sure that the information it provides is is actual factual information, and not some like gibberish that it made up from a data that doesn't exist. So for that, I think a good mix could be models between like perplexity and then like something like an ChatGPT 4.0, because perplexity can get all the data from the internet, right? All the actual like medical facts, and then give it to GPT 4.0, which will like summarize it and then give it an answer. So here like we have two
Okay,
different models working together in tandem
together.
to like
Thank you. I think this is very helpful. I'll tell you one of the challenges that we're facing, right? We have multiple initiatives underway, right, where we're looking to use generative AI.
Mhm.
And because I work in healthcare, right, there's a lot of
Yep.
sensitivity around the data and the accuracy, right, because this affects a person's life, right? If you make
Mhm.
a wrong decision, right, it's going to
Mhm.
impact them. Uh, the challenge that we're really facing is at what point in time could we say that we are ready to deploy a solution in production?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
We're doing a lot of
here,
testing, right?
yeah.
But there is no, like in now, in the non-generative AI platforms, right? You basically say, you have very definitive, if it's doing this, then it's
Mhm.
approved.
Yeah.
But in this case, you cannot, right? Because every time you
Yeah.
ask the question, the exact same question, it is going to come back slightly
Yeah.
different,
Different output. Yeah.
right? So is there a framework that you're looking
Yeah.
at or think about, right,
So
on how to do the
So I'll
acceptance?
give you from my example what we are doing. Let's say for businesses, right? Currently, I'm like setting up voice agents for realtors. But I'm not saying to realtors, hey, this is gonna replace you. I'm telling the realtors, hey, this is your assistant. It's just gonna enhance what you're already doing. So what we have is the infrastructure. And infrastructure, like it's a very modular infrastructure. So I can put in every model that is coming new. Hey, right now this is the best model. Like GPT 4.0 comes, I'm gonna put that right now. Cloud 3.5 Sonnet came. I remove GPT-4. I put in that model. The better voice model comes. I put in that voice model because the infrastructure is very modular. So right now I'm telling them it's their assistant. But as soon as let's say something like GPT-5 comes, cloud like Claude 4.0 comes, and then I test it, and then yeah, these models can actually replace an AI agent. I already have the infrastructure. It's a modular infrastructure, so I just replace the model, and now it's like it has a higher training power. So in your case,
Right.
you say like currently you have something like a medical, not a doctor per se, but like a someone the patient can talk to, like like a helper, an assistant. So you have an infrastructure set up that can help the patient in certain way, remind them to take medicine, or like remind them to do the menial stuff. Uh, uh, it doesn't have to know all about the like the technical stuff, all the medical stuff. It just have to be there to remind the patient what to do, how to do it, and then
So yes, yeah. So sorry, I really to interrupt you, right? But if you go back, right? So the question is, in the case of these realtors, right? They're using this voice interaction with their
yeah.
potential customers, and it's a helper, completely agreed, right? But how does a realtor ensure that the response of the information being provided is accurate?
hmm No, the information is already in the database, right? We have a knowledge base set up. So the AI is able to get the information from the knowledge base. Like let's say when they ask for this property or whatever information, it's already in the database. So the AI is able to access the knowledge base and give us the like the information that needed. And the thing is with Realtor is not like it works 95% of the time. 5% of time it will hallucinate. Like that, but they know about it. The businesses that we work with, they know about it. But in your case, that 5% is something you don't want. So where you can come is you fine tune a model, but the infrastructure you make is still a modular one. Right now you're fine tuning one model, like the foundation model could be GPT 4.0, could be Llama 3, whatever. You have the infrastructure, but as soon as a better model, better foundation model comes, that is better at medical evaluation, that has been tried and tested by researchers, that it can replace like a medical assistant or nurses, right? And then you train that foundational model on and fine tune that into your own data, fine tune that with your own data, and then put it in back in the infrastructure. All you're doing is you have the infrastructure in place. You're just like switching out the models.
Yeah. Yeah, so in this case, in this realtor case, right, you're basically, the interaction is essentially the prompt itself has the inventory of properties, right, that particular
The
agent
It's not the
has. Is that
prompt.
how
The
you're doing
prompt has
it?
the basic information about, like, the frequently asked question. If it's very
Yeah.
detailed stuff, then it's connected to a knowledge base, and it can
Okay.
get all the information from the knowledge base. Yeah. Like, for knowledge base,
So,
you can use something like Pinecone, a vector
okay,
database.
so that's where I was going to go. Okay, so you're basically putting all of that information in some kind of a vector data store, right? And
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah,
that's essentially being used to formulate the context before going
yeah,
to the
yeah, yeah,
okay. And you're finding 95% of the time it's accurate.
yeah. It is quite accurate. It is quite accurate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
That,
because, like,
that's
it depends on how you, if it's simple data, right? Like, if the data is very simple in, like, spreadsheet kind of a format, it's able to do the job very good. But if it's
okay.
like a complex data, right, and then you ask it, question about, like, combine the data, and ask it a question regarding that, then it will suffer. Then it will, like, produce different answers all the time. But in
Yeah.
our use
Okay.
case, what we are doing is very simple, right? That's the reason currently for medical, I'm like, let the better model comes. But, like, before they want to make an, AI doctor or an AI nurse. But currently,
Yeah.
we do have the tech to make, like, an AI medical assistant that is there to help the nurses, that is here to remind the patients, or an AI medical receptionist that is there picking
Yeah.
up the call, like, scheduling appointments, doing all these functions.
Right. Okay, makes sense. Thank you. I appreciate that. Sorry, Ujjal, I didn't mean to take the
No,
entire
you're good.
conversation.
All good conversation. I have a more interesting, I mean, like everything is interesting, but my question would be a little bit different. And only you explained about all the
Mhm.
implementation details and the fine tuning and all those things. But don't you think ChatGPT is building something similar? Like in the last demo that we saw,
Yeah,
people were talking to ChatGPT,
yeah,
they
yeah, yeah,
to like do the vision thing,
yeah,
and now it's just a matter of time. Like they'll put avatar also.
yeah, yeah,
How are small companies? And it's a very open question. I'm not saying
yeah,
like
yeah,
you do not have a strategy, or maybe you have a strategy. I'm saying like today, if I want to build a startup,
yeah,
or build an application. I'm not building models and all, right? So as you mentioned, like those are the big companies who are building the
yeah,
models. Now, if I want to build an application on top of it, how will it be unique enough to differentiate from like what ChatGPT is going to
yeah,
build, or maybe like other big techs are going to build,
yeah.
like Google or something,
So
Microsoft?
because, like, this is a very nice question, and then my advice is not to build horizontally, but to build vertically. So what that means is, like, right now what ChatGPT is doing is they started with the text, right? Now they are moving horizontally towards the voice, and then, like, the next part, I don't know where it takes them, but, like, currently they are there. But they won't be making specific models for lawyers. They won't be making specific models for children. So if you want to start your own startup, you have to build, like, vertically, where they won't go, because what they are making is a general model. But what you can make is a specialized model that is targeted towards a specialized industry or a special niche. So
So
this is the
pick
approach,
a
I think.
vertical, dig in, and
Yeah,
whoever
yeah.
comes back
Yeah.
fast,
And, like, if
fastest,
it's
like
very,
that's a market.
like, very, I'd say, very, like, I think easy, or not easy, but if it's very big industry, like, this is something like an AI nurse or medical, right? I could have gone into that, but the reason I'm not fully investing 100% my time into it, but because I know that it is a very big industry and a big player is gonna jump in. It's either gonna be, Nvidia. I think Nvidia is already doing
No, I
something
mean, like
similar
in the
with AI nurses.
medical world, it's Epic, right? So Epic
Yeah,
is kind of like controlling everything. Vivek, you might
yeah,
know. So I'm pretty sure they're already investing millions
yeah,
of
yeah,
dollars,
yeah, yeah,
right? So every industry already has some special niche players who are like
hmm,
real big. Not
yeah,
only like
yeah,
Google and Facebook and OpenAI, but you take industry like healthcare. There is
hmm,
AP. There are so many others. If we take a
yeah,
insurance industry, if you take a mortgage industry, whatever it is, like there are
hmm,
already big players out there.
yeah.
So how
But
how are you going to differentiate over there also?
so, the big players here we're talking about, like, I don't care about, like, the companies that have like that are not making their own models. If they are not making their own models, that means they are doing something similar that I would do, because the only company that can beat me are the companies that have their own models. Like it's the Nvidias, it's the Metas, it's the Googles,
No,
it's
I mean,
these
they're
these
not going
companies
to
that
build a
have the
no, they're not going to build a foundational model. They're going to use
yeah.
a foundational model, fine tune it, and then
Hmm.
repurpose for
Hmm.
themselves.
Yeah. And of course they can repurpose it, but it also depends on like the kind of like the tech stack, like the people who are more comfortable with like AI or not, because there are not a lot of people who can think creatively. Because recently I made an AI agent that is also able to remember the previous conversation from the voice AI agents, right? Like you can call it again and again and it's able to remember the previous conversation. And I did that with my, like I don't have a tech stack, but I was able to do that with my like creative, like creative
Mind,
thinking and
mind,
doing
yeah.
that around. And still, like I don't see any big companies or anything like something similar if they have done anything similar. Because sometimes you have to be creative, and like if you are a small company, right, you have the like ability to be creative,
I was
and
listening
then
to,
think out of the box, think
yeah,
something very different that these companies cannot do. And the market is so big that even if we get like 1%, 0.1% of the market
still,
share,
yeah,
right?
opportunity is always there.
Yeah.
So interesting. I was listening to Lex Fridman podcast. I really love this guy. And the last podcast that they had was Perplexity CEO, Arvind Srinivasan. And have you used Perplexity, all of us? Like we have
Yeah.
used Perplexity, right? So now people are saying that Perplexity is a Google replacement. And then
Hmm.
the question of Lex Fridman was, are you head on, you know, getting into the war of Google? Like, is that
Hmm.
even a possibility? So the answer was, I really like that answer. So every big company has a weak spot.
Yeah.
For Google, the weak spot is summarizing the answers and giving you an
Hmm.
answer because they
Hmm.
want to, they make money by the AdWords and the
Yeah.
links that they share and the sponsorship. If
Yeah.
they summarize everything, that's a
They don't make
problem
money.
for them. They don't make money. And that's where, and he's telling it openly, right? So that is, they have identified the big player, they have
Hmm.
identified the weak spot of the big player that they are not going to look into.
Hmm.
Then they're targeting that space. So maybe, I don't know, like if you can identify that big player and the weak spot of the big player,
Yeah.
that will be a,
Oh, yeah, like of course that's why I'm like hell-bent on starting like getting the infrastructure ready, so that if someone comes to me and be like, hey boss, we want to make something, an AI avatar for this business, right? Like we want to, like an author comes to me, he's like, hey, I want an AI avatar where like if my, like the readers, they scan the QR code, they can talk to me, and they can ask questions about the book or something like that, right?
hmm,
So something like that is not, very like big scale, but also like something that can help like small to medium scale, medium to, little large scale. Because I'm not gonna focus on, those like big enterprises. They already have, like I talk with them, they already have consultations from like McKinsey or Deloitte, right?
yeah,
But
correct.
like there are many small businesses that need to catch up, because if they don't catch up with AI, they will be left behind.
Yeah, just the investment of like research and development itself is a big thing for small companies, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if you can, position themselves, okay, now we have already done the research for you. Here is a
Hmm.
product already
Yeah.
available. Let's get
Yeah,
kickstart, right?
you're correct. Like, let's say I'm talking about realtors, right? So how I pitch them the product is as simple that, by missing every potential call, you're losing potentially thousands of dollars in revenue, because clients are, impulse buy. If you're not gonna pick up, they're gonna call the next person. Why not have someone who's there to pick up your phone 24/7 and then set up appointments? So
So
you
that is an
identify a
AI
problem
agent.
and then you
No,
give a
no,
solution.
that is an
Are
AI
you
agent. Perfect use case of an AI agent. I'm just
Yeah.
wondering, what would be the use case of an avatar?
Avatar
Actually, I was
is
gonna.
like something like product demo. If they want to do a product demo, that is, like an interactive product demo. Let's say you want to showcase your product to people, right? And then you ask the AI question about the product. Like it's from marketing point of view, right? That's very
Mhm.
marketable. That there's an AI you that speaks like you, sounds like you, and you ask it questions about the product, and it's
I
gonna
mean,
answer
it
it.
doesn't have to sound like or speak like me. It can be Gurleen only, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I might be talking
But
to
if it's
Gurleen, but
the
Gurleen
thing is,
cannot be all over the place.
yeah,
So
yeah,
now
yeah.
we have
But if
like,
it's like if you are doing the demo, you are the CEO who's doing the demo, and then you have the avatar that sounds like you, this looks like you,
if
right?
I'm the
That
CEO,
gives
then
a
my avatar goes over there.
yeah. Then from
Okay.
a
Yeah.
marketing point of view, that is like yeah, like that's next level.
Gurleen, I want to ask a question, right? Are you familiar with personal.ai?
Yeah, yeah. Personal.ai, yeah. I think
Right.
it's
So
similar to character.ai, right?
no, they basically, to large extent, right, essentially are building a platform that essentially, enables, different professionals, right, to extend their expertise, right, or scale their expertise, right. So you basically
Mm-hmm.
have, yeah. So the way I understand this, right, what they're trying to do is they're actually taking all the information, your emails, your knowledge base, whatever it is, right? And actually fine tuning a model by itself. So
Mm-hmm.
then that avatar really is actually you, right? It
Mm-hmm.
knows what you know. It writes the
Mm-hmm.
way you write. It talks the way you talk,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And essentially the extension and scaling of yourself, right? So it's very similar, right? I think to what you're saying. Do you think that's what they're doing, or do you think it's something different?
I think they like it is not like difficult to do like what you're saying is to get all the information, all the data, and then fine tune a model. The one thing that I want to like I'm wondering is how they do the price point, because like from what I
Right.
have done to AI is expensive. Right now, like the
Yes.
only application is for businesses. Like right now, it's still not at the consumer level where you can do these applications at consumer level. Like we have this perfect idea with the voice AI, like the AI avatar for kids that can speak to them, that can help them with their homework, with science and maths, right? But the thing comes down to be the cost. The costing is like, from the LLM, even though you're hosting it somewhere, there's a server cost. You are like using the voice model, there's a cost for the voice model, there's a cost for the transcriber. So all these costs add up. And from consumer level, we are still not at that level where like we can scale it that much, where someone is using it for, let's say, 200, 300, like hours a month, and
Mhm.
then but they're only paying like $10, $20. But
Yeah, I think the subscription fee is pretty small, right? If I remember correctly, it's like 15
$40. I
to
just
20.
checked.
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
$40
15,
per
$20
month.
a
like
month, right? To do that.
like
Um, anyway, so you actually triggered another thought for me, right? Because then I know someone, right? So that's triggered my thought, right, as you were
yeah.
speaking. Um,
Because I'd say cost is going to be a big factor. Like the cost is decreasing. Like every month we have a new model where the cost is less, the less, the less, less, less. And then like
right.
soon we will have a model that we will be able to scale up commercially so that we can justify the cost. Because I think from an Indian point of view, where if I'm making a product, I want to see the profitability first rather than, because a
Right,
lot of
right, right.
like from an American point of view, they see like, scaling the product, even if it's costing them investors money, like pouring in money, pouring in money, pouring in money, but the end up you're not making profit, because there are a lot of companies even right now who haven't made a single dollar profit, but they have, like pouring in
No,
investors'
no,
money. Yeah,
absolutely. I know they have raised money in different forums, right? So I know that, right?
yeah.
But anyway, so that kind of triggered my thought. That's why I wanted to ask you what your thoughts were about them. That's
Because
fine.
here we have something which is generative. That's why, like, every time you put an input, a different output comes. A lot of computation is happening that requires a lot of energy. So energy is the thing that you cannot, like, subsidize or anything.
Right, 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 right. No, makes
With
sense.
regular computer, it's like on or off. You put in one input, you get one like deterministic output.
Yeah,
So it doesn't require
that's
that
right.
much computation.
Hmm, interesting. Personal.ai. I just checked it out. Interesting stuff. Next question is, so now we talked about use cases. You mentioned a lot about like infrastructure cost and all those things. We also talked about industries and vertical. I'm just thinking like, what would be your next step? Like, I mean, for example, uh, from a regulation standpoint, do you
Hmm.
think that putting an avatar in front of customer is a good idea at this point of time, or do we want to figure out like use cases where we have human in the loop more?
Hmm. I think figuring out the use case is gonna be an interesting part. I told you one use case where you are doing product demo, and the other is, like I have people who want to, like see their dead people or something like that, but I'm staying away from that way, right? Because
What?
that's something
Oh,
like they want to talk
oh,
with.
I
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Planchet. They
So
want to do a planchet with a subscription.
yeah, they're like
Okay.
something like that's something because moral issue also comes in, right? You don't want to like it is possible like with the tech we have to build those systems, but then like an moral kind of an issue comes and so yeah, use cases are going to be interesting. Like figuring out the infrastructure first and making the avatar do all this stuff. Like do different kind of call in different APIs, do in different stuff. I want the AI avatar to
So
draw it for me.
you have all the pieces right now. Like you have all
Yeah,
the pieces put together. You build the API avatar or the agent like without the avatar, right? I mean, you can still have the agent right in place. You have the infrastructure, so you can pitch it to a small company and then kickstart their AI journey. So that is something
hmm
that is. The other one is like um, now coming back to the regulations part. That as Vivek was mentioning, like the regulations becomes a very critical thing if you're targeting healthcare or insurance or
yeah,
mortgage,
yeah.
like
hmm
wherever like it's highly regulated.
Yeah.
So have you like how much thought you have given over there, and then what is your plan to invest more on that? By the way, like right now, what is your cost? Right, I mean to run this infrastructure to, I mean like your company's AI to flow, right?
Yeah.
So six
So
months
right now for
company.
voice models,
We have
like the
two
cost is not that
organizations
much.
going on. One is impactful marketing and AI to flow.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little
I
bit more about that, and we'll come back to the regulations.
So impactful marketing is where we focus on, marketing like different companies with the help of
Right.
generative AI. But I2Flow is where I dive deeper into the AI into the stuff and helping businesses integrate AI into their, business. That could be
Right.
automation. Automation can be, any task that they're doing, like, if they're spending 70% of the time doing something
Mhm.
repeatedly, that's not even giving them, 20% of the output. So we can automate that. And the other thing is, like voice AI agents. The cost of voice AI agent is currently like paying close to 20 cents a minute. So
With
every time you
with your own model, right? I mean, you're
yeah,
not
yeah, yeah, yeah,
using
yeah.
the which one did you replace? Agent you replaced, or like which one you are building your
So
own?
no, it's like I'm using 11 Labs. 11 Labs is the expensive one because
Okay,
I'm using that for the voice, but they have the most realistic voice. And if you are
correct,
talking, like you want talking to AI, you want the voice to be as realistic as
correct.
possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
And
then
you also mentioned
Agent.
like you created your own models. You're starting to create your models. So look, what kind of models?
This is the model that the infrastructure that we're creating is for the 3D avatars. That is something different. That is something
Because the
different
agent
than
was
the
very
voice.
expensive, like $4
Yeah,
per
yeah.
month, something.
So what for that, what we are focusing on is like something that is easy to load, like that doesn't require Unity or Unreal Engine. That is like easy to load something like what was it? I think JavaScript, like a simple JavaScript that can load, and then it has something similar to lip syncing, like Rhubarb lip syncing that can get the like text from the behind and then sync it.
Mhm.
So basically, a lot of things are happening here. Like when you make these models, right? Like when you're speaking, the speak is going into a transcriber which is going to transcribe the speech to the text, and then the text is going to the LLM, and the LLM is going to output the text, and then that text is going to the speech to text model, and then that speech to text is going to convert again into text to go into like rhubarb the lip syncing, and then the lip syncing going to go to the avatar, then the avatar is going to speak while the model is like the speaking.
So all this falls under AI to flow, right?
Yeah,
The AI to
yeah.
flow company, and the impactful marketing is your
It's for the
the
marketing.
other
Yeah, yeah,
marketing company. Okay, okay.
yeah.
So AI to flow is your research and development company that you are working on, and then
Yeah, for the AI. Yeah.
for the AI part. Okay, so that is good. Are you bootstrap right now, or do you look
Yeah,
for
yeah. It's bootstrap. Yeah.
bootstrap? Okay. So awesome. Okay. So bootstrap company, 6 months old. You're building that infrastructure. You're trying to reduce cost, and of course, like the model costs are also going down. You're pitching to customers, so perfectly on track. Next would be like the use cases. You're trying to identify the use cases, and then the third
hmm
one would be like, okay, now if the use cases demand a more tight regulations, then we have to figure out something like, okay, what is
Yeah.
the regulatory thought process that is going behind the scene?
Yeah,
So now
regulations are going to be there. Like even right now, there are regulations for outbound. Like you cannot do cold calls with AI. Like I have a system set up where I can like give my AI a list of numbers, and the
I get
AI
all
is
the time
gonna
like
call them.
some weird calls I get all the time.
But those are weird. Those are robotic calls. Like what we have is an
Oh,
AI call. You won't even know that you're talking with an AI.
okay. Oh, okay. So they're differentiating between robotic calls and AI calls,
Yeah,
like
they say
script
that it's the
versus
same. It's the same. Like they
the same.
believe they're saying it's the same. So you cannot do outbound calls with AI. So
Right.
unless you get their consent.
Who is going to give a consent? Yeah, that's the
Exactly.
tough part.
So like regulations are there, but like that's why we see something like in China, because one of my partners, he is like the AI engineer. He's from China, and the models that they have over there is on par, I'd say, like the kind of models we have here, and the
Mhm.
tech they are using, like the kind of the 3D thing that we are trying to achieve here, they have already achieved there, and it's already in production there.
Okay. So people
So
are already using it. How are
yeah,
they
yeah, yeah.
using? Like what use
They're
cases?
using it for, let's say, even like these streaming, like these streamers, like that are like the AI streamers, like the streamers and AI, and then you can talk with it, stuff like that. So it's very like these entertaining use cases. I'll see if I can find the link and I'll share it with you.
What is I did not get it. Like what is a streamer? AI streamer? I don't.
Streamer is basically like have you seen like Twitch, like where people
Correct. Yeah.
stream?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Streaming
these are like
platforms and
AI
all.
streamers where like this like the person who's streaming, it's not a person, it's an AI, and people are just talking with her, and yeah, a lot of I say weird use cases.
That's why you said initially at the beginning, like I am the real Gurleen, not the AI Gurleen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because that is going to be the that is
it,
going to
it
be
is that we have the tech, we already have the tech to do that. The only thing that comes down is the costing. Right now the costing is too much, that's why you don't see it everywhere. Once we figure out the costing part, right? And right now I'm saying is we have this transcriber, we have this blah 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 blah, but that everything will be solved once we have a multi-modal LLM like GPT-4o.
hmm,
GPT-4o, it takes the input voice and the output is also in voice.
hmm,
So you don't need the transcriber, you don't need a speech to text model, and the cost is reduced by 1/10. Like all the cost is gone because you have a single model that's doing everything.
hmm.
And so that's what I'm talking about, building an infrastructure, more modular infrastructure. So we are setting up everything else, and then we have this model, right? And when this model comes in, we're just gonna remove all this, put this in, and then we have the perfect, the thing, the AI avatar that it will be everywhere.
Hmm. You're you're thinking like a consulting side or you're thinking product side? Like you're going to build a SaaS platform and then people integrate with the SaaS platform.
I'm thinking more of a consulting side currently.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Like figure out how to make this ourselves, the infrastructure, and then help businesses like build their
Yeah.
own product, because
Kickstart.
like
Kickstart. Yeah.
it's not gonna be like, as you say, consumer. If you build a SaaS, if you think like there are consumers for that, right?
Yeah.
Currently for 3D avatar, there are not many consumers, but businesses, they would want to make something similar for their like let's say an AI interviewer. Like you have a company and you want to interview people, right? You can clone your own AI to interview people for you.
Hmm. One more thing. I read somewhere in the news that Zoom is planning to build AI avatars. Have you
Hmm.
heard about that? So that way, like today there are a lot of Zoom CEO was telling today there are a lot of interviews which overlap in our schedules, and we are
Hmm.
either have to decline or cannot join, or maybe sometimes we have to be on the both the calls, right? I mean, with
Yeah.
two phones. I have done that myself in a
Hmm.
lot of cases, right? Or I just simply cannot join. So maybe in the future, Zoom is going to create that AI avatar so that I can send my avatars to the unimportant kind of like a information only or yeah, information
Yeah.
purpose meetings where I have to be a silent
Hmm.
observer.
Gather the information,
I
right?
gather the information and come back and maybe participate. I do not know whether those avatars can make decisions on my behalf or not, and then who will be liable. But
Hmm.
more moreover, like I send my avatars to the unimportant meetings and then be present in the important meeting that I want to be. And then that
Yeah.
those avatars will come back with all the decisions and the bullet points. And so how does it like how do you think about that with the thing that you are working towards? Like is it like
No,
overlapping?
it is like a similar thing like right now, right? Like in the end, the goal is to have your clone that can go places where you cannot go yourself. Um, uh, but that is an interesting point. I don't know how we'll be able to achieve that, like with the costing and stuff. Let's see, like the kind of model that they come out, and then because if it's just something as simple as like a face there, like let's say a big meeting of 50, 60 people, and it's if just there to gather information, right? Then you don't need an avatar. You already have a transcriber that can get all the data and then summarize it and then give you what happened in the meeting,
I do
right?
not know. I mean, that's
Yeah.
where it makes it more interesting that if I'm sending an avatar, and
Mhm.
if the avatar has to speak on behalf of me,
Yeah.
and if it gives a decision on behalf of me,
Yeah.
it better be the correct decision
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would have given, right? How
No,
am I going to
currently,
control that, right?
I think currently the models that we have, they are not that smart that
Yeah, I don't
they can
think
give
so. Yeah.
decisions on behalf. The models that we have currently are basically you tell them something and they do it. They don't make a decision. They don't have the mind of their own yet. Unless you put it in a prompt that if they ask this question, you say yes, and if they ask this question, then you said yes.
But then if it has to replicate me, it has to know all the information that is inside. Good,
Yeah,
bad, ugly, whatever it is.
yeah, yeah,
Hopefully the good, not the bad and
yeah,
ugly.
yeah.
Because I do not want my avatar to say bad things about and make
Hmm.
decisions on behalf of me.
Yeah, I think we are like
Apart.
still like a few years apart from that tech when the LLM comes to that level where they are able to make decisions on our behalf. Currently, what we have is a very good algorithm kind of a thing that is able to predict the next word, predict like the better outcome. That's what we have right now. We don't have the AGI that they say, right? Artificial general intelligence, yeah. But
So
other than that, like
a
it's
lot of
still a
big
very
people say like
exciting thing that's happening.
yeah.
Sorry to interrupt here. I came in
Yeah.
late, so
No,
I've been
no.
watching you guys talk, and it's pretty fascinating. I got here about 5-10 minutes ago, and I've been trying to see. I missed everything that you've said. I wanted to be here for the beginning, and I apologize. But I was wondering if you could kind of give me some rundown of what you happened to share there about your AI avatar and how you set it up. Because, like, I'll tell you what I've done here last night is I created with Llama 8 billion parameter,
Hmm.
automated email responder.
Yeah.
I got the responses for my trucking business. I'm a trucker by background, and I got the code to share. I could share it with anybody. I don't care. So if you're interested in this responder, I can share it off there. But yeah, like it's not coming perfectly, but it's close. But I don't know what to expect with an 8 billion parameter model.
Yeah, I
And
think that's the problem. Like it's 8 billion parameters, right? It's not the powerful model. But like locally, that's the only thing we can run right now. That does requires too much compute.
yeah, so what about the 70 billion parameter model though? Like I see you mentioned it here in meetup.com.
Yeah, like if you're using that, you can use like host it on the cloud. Either you can use like Google Colab or like Amazon, or even I would suggest Grok is the fastest.
Mhm.
Like host it there, like host it online. Don't host it locally because locally then you would require a lot of compute. I don't even think like currently we have enough, like personal like with our the most powerful graphic card we can run the biggest models. We can
Really?
do it on the 8 billion one, but not the 70 billion one.
See, I was under the impression that I was just a few gigabytes shy on the processor. See, I got a 3060 NVIDIA card, which is 12 gigabyte GPU.
Hmm.
And from perspective, I don't know, I've never seen one run the 70 billion model yet, but I was told even by ChatGPT, I asked how many gigabytes I needed to run this 250 gigabyte model. That is also Grok, but it's Twitter's XAI. That's on GitHub, and you can download this 250 gigabytes. But it said that I could process that with a 3090 NVIDIA card on
I
my
think
Ryzen.
you might be confusing Grok and Grok. Those are different. Grok
Yep.
is like what like X.AI is doing, and Grok is like different. It is like I'll
Yeah,
send
no
you the link.
processor, server, yeah, I know what you're talking about. But the reason why I mentioned Grok XAI is because the model that you download locally on your computer is 250 gigabytes, and these 8 billion parameter models are only 4 gigabytes. So you're looking
Yeah.
at like a difference of I don't know how much processing power, but I was assuming that I couldn't do the the 40 like the 70 billion parameter models are about 30 to 40 gigabytes, right? So I'm talking on scale in terms of like what computer can handle. And so uh, what I was saying is that ChatGPT is a 250 gigabyte model. They're not ChatGPT.
Mhm.
Sorry, there.
Llama.
Grok with
Okay.
Elon Musk's Grok is
Mhm.
250
Yeah.
gigabyte model. Then we're
Mhm.
coming down to the 70 billion parameter Llama 3 model is 40 gigabytes.
Yeah.
And then we're coming down to the 8 billion parameter, which is the 4 gigabyte model with what I'm using. But what I
Mhm.
was saying, I got my computer is a Ryzen 7 5600 with a 3060 NVIDIA card, which is 12 gigabyte GPU.
Yeah.
And I asked ChatGPT, can I do the 250 gigabyte model? What would I need for processor power? And can I do it on my computer? And it told me that all I needed was to increase my RAM, because my RAM at the time was 16 gigabytes RAM DDR4, and it said it needed to come up to 32 gigabytes minimum. Oh no, sorry there. It needed to come up to 64 gigabytes minimum. And then
Mhm.
it said that I needed a 3090 GPU, like the 28, 20. I think what is that gigabyte GPU? I think it's 24 gigabyte GPU, and it said I could run Elon Musk's Grok on my computer. And
Mhm.
I was like, well,
Hmm.
what about the 8 billion parameter then? I'm assuming that the 70 billion parameter isn't far off from where my computer is right now, because I got 12 gigabyte GPU. If I need only 24 gigabyte GPU to run that big Grok model, then it's got to be between there, 12 and 24 that I'm sitting at right now that I could run the 70 billion. And I don't know what kind of model, like what kind of computer are you running right now for hardware, if you don't mind me asking, because this is a big question about the 70 billion. I've never seen anybody run one.
No, because like I do everything on cloud, so I don't have my computer is like 3070 RTX 3070.
Yeah,
It is able to like run like I mean the stable diffusion and those models locally.
mine too.
But for the other models, right, I think I'd use either Google Colab, Amazon, or like Grok to run those models.
Did you never tried the 70 billion parameter model on your computer to see
No,
if it
no,
works?
I won't even think that will work because right now you need a lot of
Yeah.
VRAM. Like the RAM doesn't matter a lot, but the VRAM, the graphic, the GPU's VRAM, that's the thing that matters the most. Currently, 12 gigabytes is not enough. You need like something like 24, 48, like the more the VRAM, the better.
Yeah, okay. All right. That's it. That's interesting. You thought about stable diffusion. Now, I'll tell you something else. I got stable diffusion working with, Open Web UI. I'm assuming that you're using that. Are you?
I was
Open
using automatic, 1111.
Automatic 1.1. I haven't heard that one at all. Like Open Web UI is the because
Or the
Olama works.
Comfort UI also.
Oh, Comfy UI. Okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So Comfy UI is for stable diffusion. So Open
Yeah.
Web UI is got the best. If you okay, so I don't. I think Comfy UI is like a graph related or vector kind of related LLM kind of thing, and like that's how the platform or the framework is. But Olama itself is a CLI. It's a command line interface. It works in DOS. Like that's how
Mhm.
Olama works, right?
Mhm.
And then there's the GUI, which is a graphic user interface. And I think Comfy is one of them, but it's
Yeah.
not the number one. The number one GUI is Open Web UI, which I'm telling you about right now, and it
Mhm.
looks exactly like ChatGPT on its front end, and
Mhm.
you can even insert ChatGPT into there.
Okay.
One thing I'll tell you though that I was learning about Stable Diffusion, because I know Stable Diffusion 3 came out, I'm able to operate it on my computer here at home, and I use Comfy UI to start it. And then I was having a trouble to integrate stable diffusion into Open Web UI because there's no instructions. Well, there's one or two videos that kind of give the help to set it up in Open Web UI, but there's no real, like, it's brand new, right? So there's, like, I was first to the market. I think I'm first to the market to put Stable Diffusion 3 to Open Web UI, and I got it working. So I can do what you're doing, but I do it through ChatGPT looking interface, and it pops up the image when I ask it through the interface of ChatGPT instead of using Comfy UI, which we know is like I don't know what to call that grid thing, that Comfy UI, but I you know what I mean, like by the
Nodes,
grid.
yeah, it's the nodes thing.
Yeah, the nodes thing.
Connect
So
one node with another node. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't use that because I find it challenging. Well, at least right now, but I would love to get some help on nicely. But I had a couple guys online, but yeah, look up Open Web UI because that's the number one graphical user interface for these llama models. And you've heard of LM Studio. I'm sure you've heard of LM Studio.
Which one was it?
LM Studio?
Yeah, I've heard of them.
That was one of the most popular at one, like maybe about, I don't know, 5-6 months ago. It was the most popular graphical user interface. But there was drawback, which was that you couldn't use a microphone with it.
Yeah.
So if you know how you're trying to use your AI avatar and you're using microphone with it, Open Web UI uses microphone. It can use, like I told you there with the images, and you can upload any file into it, not just like pictures. LM Studio had some models using pictures like 3 months ago. That was the beginning of it. And it doesn't fully function with any kind of file. But Open Web UI, you can upload a PDF file into it. And I asked like 66 questions, and it answers perfectly on my 8 billion parameter model. And that's the crazy part of it all, is that I'm starting to think that my 8 billion parameter model can actually communicate perfectly, and I don't even need the 70 billion parameter, because I could show you a video, or let me get your contact information before this closes. Both you guys, Ujjal and Gurleen.
I'll put. Are you in LinkedIn?
I'm on Discord. I'm a trucker by background, so I don't have that, like, you know how you guys all work in the office, right? So
you're doing awesome. I mean, like, I'm just super impressed with your excitement.
This is what I'm talking about, right? Like with the AI, right? Like even people who are non-technical.
Exactly.
Like even I'm non-technical, but I'm still into AI, and look at, like, the kind of stuff I'm making.
Yeah,
that's the beauty of AI and YouTube.
So
and everything.
I'm actually then let's do one thing. I mean, maybe we can create a WhatsApp group or something.
Yeah.
And I'll put my number over here. And Corey, if you can put your number also, then I can create a WhatsApp group, and then we can connect, and then we can brainstorm together.
There's my phone number right there. I'm in Canada. I don't know where you guys are. I'm in Waterloo, Canada.
You're in Canada?
I'm in Vancouver.
Yeah, I can call you guys though. And yeah. Okay. I'll tell you something else, that the best place to communicate about this stuff is on Discord. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, of course. Okay, I can create a Discord channel or something like that, and then we can, start a conversation with.
Yeah, because I'll give you guys my Discord account name, and that's where this discussion about these complex issues are happening. There's my Discord username there. I'm gonna have to record information.
Hey, Gurleen, do you have any Discord or anything?
I'll put my phone number, and
yeah, then I can collaborate, and then we can Discord thing. Awesome. Okay.
So right now, sounds like good. I said,
but I mean, one thing that I can tell you, like, forget about the AI part, forget about the technology part. So your excitement is like really, really intoxicating. So awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. like I actually did a presentation here in Canada.
Okay.
Okay, Waterloo, Ontario, Canada is near Toronto, and they call this place the Silicon Valley of Canada, this city, because this is where the BlackBerry phone was invented. If you know the BlackBerry.
Yeah.
Okay, it was in Waterloo, Canada. There's a movie about it actually, and so they have a lot of computer programmers in the city. And I went to they have meetups all the time here, like every couple of weeks about AI. And the guy that was presenting the AI the other day, when I explained to him what I was doing, I blew his mind. And I was like, how is it that I'm the one blowing your mind? You're doing the presentation blowing everybody else's mind.
Yeah.
So I about 30 to 40, I did a presentation there 3 days ago as well, myself, and I blew everybody's mind. Of 40 software programmer guys that were listening to me, and they came up and asked me, how did you do this and do that? And I said, well, I just, Chat GPT, honestly, I'm using it every day.
Every day.
And
Awesome.
and that was the thing that taught me how to program in the last, like, I've only got like about 2 months experience of programming
Wow.
experience. And I was able to build
Amazing.
a WhatsApp extension for the software application WhatsApp on your phone. And I was able to build, so that basically the extension, what it does is it automates your text messaging.
So what I'm going to do, sorry, Cody, for cutting you off. Let's do one thing. I'm going to set up some time, and maybe you can do some presentation, and then we can go through what are the things that you're building. How about that?
Oh my God, man! I would love to do that. There, you guys let me know when I can. I will. Like, I mean, I really enjoyed it last time I did it, and that was 3 days ago. And I just these guys were in shock, like what I could do, because there's another.
This is exactly how we network, and this is exactly why I'm setting up this call, so that we never know, so many different people out there, and so many different ideas are floating around. You never. I learned so many new things today, by the way, from all of you. So I need to wrap it up. Hey, Satya, nice meeting you. You have been a observer.
Yeah, I'm not that much of a AI. I mean, I've been. I actually got introduced to AI accidentally last year.
So now doesn't really matter whether it's last year or 2 months. If you have the excitement and drive, look at Cody.
And to be very honest, there's a lot to learn, that's what I thought I have. I've been working in software for about 16 years now. And this thing is blowing me away. When this guy showed me the video, I was jumping around in the house telling my wife about it. Like, people are going crazy.
AI avatar?
The AI video avatar.
AI avatar.
It is amazing what people are doing.
But more importantly, I think what I'm seeing the trend, and look at Cody and look at Gurleen also. So Gurleen, you are a marketing person. Cody, you are doing a trucking business, right? I think you guys are bringing in a different perspective.
Yeah, that wasn't possible before.
That was impossible before, because people from the core IT background has a different perspective. So we think it in a different way, like a complex way. You are thinking more of a simple way and then starting in a simple way. And then you are getting results immediately, right? Whereas a hardcore programmer or a developer who has been in 20 years or 10 years thinking differently, right? I think that's a paradigm shift that is happening right now.
When I found that, from the time I started, I mean, my cousin introduced me to a startup thing he's working on. So I got pulled in like that. And whoever was there, who was thought to be leading this, franchise or this enterprise, basically left or something happened, and I became the lead of that startup somehow. And I started learning statistics, basic linear algebra, and all of this. And look at these guys developing things without all of that being
it's a paradigm shift. That's what I'm saying. Completely reversed the whole
robust.
some
Yeah.
I
development.
think that's what NVIDIA
Development
CEO
efforts.
Jensen said, right? That English is the next programming
English is the
language.
next programming language, and then creativity, right?
Yeah,
Creativity and
it's
English,
the
and then
creativity.
networking, and then trying to identify use cases, which
Yeah.
is what you are doing, Gurleen. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I need to wrap this up, but I'm going to set up something, Cody, with you, so that maybe like in August or something. I'm a little tied up next month, but August or something. If you can do some presentation, it will be wonderful. And
Yeah. I
yeah,
would love to. I've seen like I did that presentation there 3 days ago,
awesome.
and it's amazing. And then that night I got Stable Diffusion working, and I was like, oh my god,
Awesome.
if only I could have presented that at
Yeah.
the thing, because Stable Diffusion 3 is the latest. If you
Yeah.
know that, Gurleen there, I
Yeah.
don't know if you
Yeah,
put
yeah.
that on.
A lot of
But,
updates
It's
happening.
horrible though.
Is it horrible? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's hard to set up. I think that's the problem there. It's a pain in the butt to navigate the grid, because the way that Comfy UI works is I started watching some videos, and there's like some workflows, and you gotta set it up nicely, and that configuration part is
Yeah.
in the butt. That's what he's talking about there. It makes sense there. But I think like we're watching videos. Like I think there's I don't know if you've done that. Have you made any videos with that at all? Because I think you can make videos with that thing too, and I haven't even done that. I've only made pictures. You know about that at all?
I've played around with
I don't think you can make
Luma.
currently with the Stable Diffusion model. You can make the videos, but you can use another, modules on top of it to convert that picture into videos. That is possible. Not like the output is not a video. The output is gonna be a picture, but you can, do another model with that picture and generate a video output.
I know, like Luma AI released a model which is like more video oriented. I tried that up. It's not good.
Mhm.
And
No,
video is like still struggling a lot. Hey guys,
Well-
this is fantastic conversation. I need to wrap up, and
Yeah.
we'll catch up. So thank you, Gurleen, for your time
No
and
problem.
all the insights. I wish you all the best and success
No.
with all your endeavor that you're
I
doing.
Thank
I already
you.
met on cell phone already, so I don't know if you can
All
see
right.
there. Gurleen, you're in Vancouver, are you?
Yeah, I'm in Vancouver.
Yeah. So you have your friend from Canada. I'm in Plainsboro. So you're
Oh, I'm in Plainsboro.
Oh, you're also in Plainsboro?
Yeah, I'm in Plainsboro. Crossings at Plainsboro.
See, so now we have found two
Where is
neighbors and then two neighbors over there. Plainsboro is near Princeton. Cody.
Yeah.
Don't know. Still don't know. Where's New Princeton?
Okay. New Jersey. New Jersey
New
here.
Jersey.
Okay, I know where New Jersey is.
Okay.
I've been to New Jersey many times. So yeah, okay. That's okay. I've heard of Glensboro. I've been there. So
Okay.
being a teacher, I've been to New Jersey many times and been through all the little cities. I've heard the term of Glensboro before.
Okay. So
know
if
how
you heard
popular-
about Princeton University, then we are just neighbor to Princeton University.
Yeah, I've heard of Princeton University. Yep.
Yep.
So that makes sense.
Yeah, whenever
Okay.
you get a chance, give me a call. My number is on the chat.
I got your number.
Yeah, let's
We'll
catch up
We'll
on a
catch
coffee
up.
or something. Yeah.
We'll catch
Thanks.
up. Yep. Awesome,
Alright.
guys. This was
Take care.
fantastic meeting all of you. Gurleen, awesome job. Take
Thank
care.
you, Jeff. Thank you
Bye-bye.
for inviting me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bye.
My pleasure. Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.